And as Tony is celebrating, Ronda Rousey appears in the ring, points towards timeless Tony Storm. They mentioned the Gina Carano fight coming up, and Storm comes back, and they do the whole procession of security and refs jumping into the ring. This, by the way, is the exact scene I said they should do for Lesnar and Obafemi when Obafemi answers that challenge. Like, same kind of idea where they just want to separate these two. Now, there were a lot of boos for Ronda Rousey, which I don't even think is the worst thing imaginable here.
She's a heel. Of course, it's great. What's wrong?
Well, there was a lot of negativity I saw online of people seeing Ronda Rousey here. And to me, I was like, this is a giant match for them. Like, this to me is like watching this angle. It's like, this is all in. I don't think they're going to do it any smaller than that. And this is a program for Tony Storm. Like, this is, I think this caught a lot of people off guard that they got Ronda, and the idea that she would even want to do any more pro wrestling at this point. Like, it does tell you, like, she is certainly invigorated.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, you could see with the way she's promoting this Carano fight, she feels, I would say, more invested and more inspired to, like, be out in the world talking to the media than she ever has before. And as part of her media tour, a brief stint or at least appearance at an AEW wrestling show, I think is brilliant promotion for her to try to appeal to some of that wrestling fan base. I think, like, she... First of all, I want to talk about the match. I thought this match was great. Probably the best singles match I've ever seen Marina Shafir in. And I personally was really happy to see that she's completely honed in on what makes the gimmick work, which in my opinion is stiff-looking offense, good judo throws, and I would say just a strong overall ferocity that I think has been, like, in there in her outings with the Death Riders, but slightly watered down in her actual matches. Like, one of the criticisms I've had about some of her singles matches is, like, she tried to fit in a lot more sort of, like, flashy personality-driven stuff, like doing the waltz with the limp opponent, which I wasn't really that much of a fan of. That awful 619 head scissors, which she did not even attempt at all in this match, thankfully. So she looked great, just sticking more to, like, a shoot style type of, like, Mox like level of intensity in her wrestling, and I thought it brought about a very serious Tony Storm as well, because like, this was more of the one of the more one-sided beatings I think we've seen Tony Storm in, and it invited this very great comeback from Storm where she also had to hit hard to fight back. So a great outing for the both of them. And I thought, like, the Ronda thing, you know, like, she, in all of her interviews right now, she is one of the more outspoken critics and I would say opponents of TKO. You know, one of the bigger problems for TKO in and of itself. And of course, you kind of couple that with many of her criticisms of her time in the WWE as well. So her showing up for the competition with AEW here, I think makes a whole lot of sense. Not to mention, of course, the attachment to Marina Shafir, who herself is, you know, become a star in this company lately. So they continue to, like, announce her as like an affiliate of the Death Riders. So it certainly, you know, indicates a further involvement from her in AEW. And of course, it helps her get the word out about this Gina fight as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good promotion. It's also like this fight with Gina Carano, like, it's going to be pretty big in May. Like, they've moved over 12,000 tickets for this show already. It's like, this is going to have some, like she's doing them as much a favor as vice versa here.
It's a lot of mutual benefit. And again, having the Marina attachment to Ronda, which, you know, obviously is very legitimate, like, makes it feel not shoehorned and a very natural thing, you know? So.
I certainly cannot see her doing any wrestling before this fight.
Of course.
Like, there is just so much invested in Ronda. Like, any type of injury, like, that would be catastrophic for that show. But after the fact, like to me, this should be all in, and maybe you do a tag match, but it seems like Ronda Tony Storm is the big match to build towards, and doing that at Wembley, like, that is the kind of match you want to have at Wembley. And I
totally agree. Like, I would go. So I haven't seen any of the online reaction. Of course, I could understand it because Ronda did not have the greatest run in the WWE whatsoever. And I would say kind of left on a bit of a sour note where people didn't really care about her, and probably, you know, there was not much craving to see her back in wrestling. But I think her here coming in as a heel, number one, like, again, like, plays to that really well. Number two, we've never seen Toni Storm with, to me, the level of crossover star of a Ronda Rousey. To me, somebody who still thinks Ronda has that aura about her, like this was a bit of an Austin Tyson type of like moment for Toni Storm.
Oh, they wanted to convey that after, like with the security running in and keeping them apart from one another. I mean, that's what they wanted to certainly convey to you and get from that crowd. And yeah, this was one of many surprises, returns that they had on the show, and it was like they just stacked these. Like after every match for the first like 3/4 of the show, there was like an add-on at the end of every match. So this was certainly one of the big stories. And whether like Ronda shows up at any of the TVs in the US coming up, there's like if she appears on like a Dynasty and a non-wrestling role in Canada, or ultimately wrestling in England.
We then go next to Jake from the Windy City, who has been a YouTube member for 38 months. YouTube members who subscribe and get our shows on that platform can also get super chats once a month, I believe. He says, I wonder how Ronda would fit in with an AEW style in the ring, considering she did more rehearsing in WWE, and she shouldn't be a weekly character. ATP?
At this point.
Okay. Thank you.
I wouldn't expect Ronda would be coming in for a whole ton of matches. I think you're building to a few key ones, and I would imagine like that you would count on one hand with fingers left over. Like there's less is more with Ronda, and to me it would be getting the maximum out of her for a big match with Tony, and then maybe a tag match with Marina in there as well.
Agreed. If Ronda Rousey is going to be attached to AEW, I would have Jon Moxley attached to her at the hip, not necessarily in front of the scenes, but behind the scenes, because the way he's been able to coach Marina Shafir and improve what she's been doing has been remarkable. I would like he would know how to present Ronda Rousey in her best, most vicious light. So I think there would be a lot of potential for like a retelling of the Ronda Rousey character, in my opinion, in pro wrestling.
It's weird. It's like 2026. Like she is trying to like redo her image in both MMA and pro wrestling.
The only major downer / head scratcher is the Ronda Rousey involvement. She has a fight to prepare on Netflix, and her wrestling ability is definitely not up to AEW standards. Not sure where they go from here. I assume she'll be involved somehow in the Tony Marina rematch on Dynamite. 9.9 out of 10 show from me, and happy belated birthday to the both of you. I'm assuming the point one is for Ronda Rousey's involvement. But
yeah, listen, there's a lot of people down on this, and they're just not fans of Ronda Rousey. But I think that it's like they're not bringing in Ronda Rousey to fulfill like the great wrestling quotient. I mean, they are bringing her in to be a big star, to do a big match, and you have a 80,000 seat building to fill in August. And if you have access to a Ronda Rousey like that, you will get your great wrestling on whatever show she is on. And I also would not underestimate like how well they will be able to put, like, again, Ronda's big thing was like nobody was complaining about her first match where she got all that prep time. You don't think they're going to have a really crafted out match with her and Toni Storm, and they've got months to prepare for that match? This is not the case. Like, I agree. If she was coming in as a weekly character, like we saw in her last run, like that got old fast, and that's not the value of Ronda Rousey. And I don't think that's something Ronda would be interested in either. But I really had no issue with the angle tonight, and a match with Toni Storm. Like that is for Toni Storm. Like that is, I mean, it's like
Tony should gain more from facing Ronda Rousey, and you would assume beating Ronda Rousey ultimately than she would facing any other person. Like maybe say even more than Mercedes, because they've already done that match. To me, it feels big. Whether or not the wrestling audience and the AEW audience will react to it just the same, maybe that remains to be seen.
The Post Wrestling Cafe is your one-stop shop for all of the coverage that Post Wrestling has to offer. 2 big rewind aways this month with WWF Insurrection from May of 2002. This UK-only pay-per-view featured the Raw brand going overseas and ending with the infamous plane ride from hell. Then we're going to take a look at AWA's Super Sunday from April of 1983. A new edition of Talk Can Be Yours, plus MCU Later, Book Club, and coverage of UFC 326, TNA Sacrifice, and of course, XL editions of Rewind a Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown with all the news of the day. Join now at postwrestlingcafe.com.